let's talk about seed saving. Seed saving is something that we can all do. It's not as difficult as you might think it is. There are some difficult seeds and plants to save seeds from, and we'll get into that. But we're going to go over the easiest ones here, and then we'll talk about the ones that are harder and what you should do in that situation. So let's start with the easiest one, I think, is beans.
Yeah, I was going to say beans is probably the easiest. You essentially just let them dry is what you do. You let them dry out.
Your green beans, forget about picking them, and maybe you have, and they've turned brown on the vine, and then you can pop them out of the shell. Now identify these things, because if you have a variety, like last week we discussed, we had a question come in. I think we grow 6 or 7 or 8 different varieties of pole beans, bush beans, that type of thing. And then there's hard shell beans, the kidney beans and the pinto beans. That's a whole nother realm too. So you want to mark what you got so you know what you're getting.
Right, definitely. And the hard shell beans you're gonna let dry anyway.
Right.
So you might as well, take a handful or whatever you think you might need for next year and set it aside.
But the beans you want to let dry completely on the vine. Don't pull them off green like you're going to eat them, like green beans or yellow pod beans, and then try to let them dry in the house. Doesn't work that way. You want the seed to be as mature and as large as possible. So that's the easy way.
And on that note, peas is very similar.
Peas are extremely similar. Again, you want the largest peas. We had that problem this year. We saved some peas last year that was smaller than what they should have been, and we lacked in the germination success. They just didn't germinate very well because the actual pea, which is the seed, didn't have enough viability in it to grow. So let your peas get very large and do that, as well as okra. Okra is the same way. You want to harvest those pods small, 3-4 inches at max. But if you want seeds from them, let that sucker grow as big as it will possibly grow and let it dry out on the plant, and you can get your okra seeds that way. And our okra plants are doing fairly well.
Right.
We'll talk to William Moss here. He's coming up on the program in 2 weeks, and he said, grow okra, grow okra. In Chicago, he was unable to grow okra because they've had almost 20 inches above normal rainfall, and okra is not a big fan of a lot of moisture. It needs some, but it likes the heat and some dry weather, and we've had that here, but Chicago didn't get that this year.
Right. So I would say then, aside from beans and peas, peppers are very easy to save the seeds. You basically just take them from the inside, let them dry a little bit, and then you have your pepper seeds. To
get the best chance, allow your pepper to set on the plant until it changes a red or a purple or a yellow, because we are trained as a society to eat green peppers, which is technically an immature or unripe pepper. If you let them sit in the refrigerator, they will change. If you set them on the counter in a week or so, they will change color.
Right, but
you want them right. But you want them
like
seeds.
The green peppers.
Right, but in order to get seeds that are the best possible, let that fruit go until it's completely changed colors, and that's for jalapenos. That's for jalapeño peppers. That's for the hot, all these extremely hot peppers.
Butch tea or the ghost pepper or whatever.
Yeah, ghost peppers. It's all across the board. Let it grow to complete maturity, and then harvest the seeds from it.
I think one of the most familiar ones that people don't even think about is pumpkin seeds. People do this anyway when they are, if they decide to carve a jack-o'-lantern, they might save those seeds to eat them. It's the same thing if you're going to save seeds from a pumpkin or a squash. That's the same concept. You're not going to roast them, but you're going to clean them off, you're going to let them dry, and then you can have them for next year.
And that's the thing. You want to know the variety, assuming, a jack-o'-lantern is a jack-o'-lantern. Okay, it's a big big orange pumpkin.
When somebody's saving pumpkin or using pumpkin for a pie or some sort of cooking, they're typically not using jack-o'-lantern pumpkins.
We have tried the jack-o'-lantern pumpkin. It's stringy.
It's stringy.
Yeah.
Jack-o'-lantern pumpkins are designed to be more hollow and larger so that you can, and less meaty so that you can carve them.
So if you want to save the pumpkin seeds, it's very easy to do. We saved some Jardel pumpkins, which is a blue skin pumpkin, which we bought the seeds like 6-7 years ago, and we planted them last year in your sister's backyard. We had 7 seeds left, and these seeds were far past the prime of good germination. We planted the 7 seeds. We got 2 seeds to go ahead and grow, and we ended up getting 45 pounds of pumpkins, 3 different pumpkins, total of 45 pounds, out of the backyard. And then we've saved those seeds, and those are good, bulky, thick seeds, so we know that they're good chance they're going to grow again, and they have. We did plant some this year. Additionally, if you're going to save like zucchini or other squashes, you want to make sure that that there's not a chance that it's going to cross-pollinate, because squashes and pumpkins and squash are all in that kind of same family. So if a pumpkin crosses with a zucchini, it will grow I forget what the terminology is, but it's a cross between a zucchini and a pumpkin. It's a very odd-looking shaped vegetable, and it sometimes has a good taste and sometimes it doesn't. So if you have that chance that it may be a cross, just get new seeds.
So real quick, since people are growing a lot of tomatoes typically in their gardens and or want to save the seeds, especially the more heirloom varieties, saving tomato seeds does take a little bit more work. It's not a ton of work, but you have to let them, as you know, when you have a tomato, they have that slime around the seeds, and you basically have to get rid of that slime. And the easiest thing to do is take whatever tomato seeds you want to save, put it in some water, put it in a like typically glass jar, put a paper towel or something coffee filter, and in a few days it'll kind of ferment almost, but not quite ferment. And then at that point you can take them out, put them on a paper towel, and then they'll remove themselves from that slime.
Well, put them on a ceramic plate because the paper towel will stick to the seed.
Okay, so yeah, ceramic
but
plate.
what you're doing is that gelatinous slime that's on the tomato seed, that is actually a barrier that nature has put on those tomatoes, because in nature the tomatoes drop off the vine, lay on the ground, and that slime protects it from germinating this year, and it goes into a dormancy state. And the next year, as the winter and that slime works off or breaks apart, it's going to be too cold in the winter to grow, and then in the spring it germinates, and that's what that slime represents on the tomato seed, and that's why we're wanting to get it off, so the seeds look like what you buy at the store, the little hairy seeds, and they're all dry and they're ready to go. Radishes are real easy to save, as you let them go to seed. That green pod is edible, and then you let that pod set on the vine and until it turns to almost like a cardboard state, and then you can save those seeds. Each pod contains 5, 6, 7 seeds on that.
And then same thing with lettuce. You can do the something that's similar as well.
When we say go to seed or bolt, that means the plant has done growing its edible portion and it's put in a strong center stalk, and flowers appear, and that's where the seeds will eventually grow from or develop into on that. So that's what we mean by going to seed or that type of thing. Going to seed, yeah.
Right. So then there are some plants that are,
let's talk about corn real quick.
Okay. Oh yeah, corn.
We don't grow corn, and for a variety of different reasons, because we can buy corn, heirloom, organic, GMO-free, all that stuff, corn, for like $0.25 an ear, and I cannot grow it that cheaply. We have successfully grown it, and there are videos on our website that indicate how we were able to successfully grow it. Once we accomplished that goal and made the video and felt that we had done what we needed to do, then we decided no more, it's too much work to grow what little corn we have space for in our backyard when we could buy it for $0.25 an ear. But if you're going to save corn, you want to go ahead and harvest it from your crop, or if you get it from the farmer's market and you can find out that it's a non-GMO heirloom organic variety and you can get a name of it, just take that ear, open up the husk on it, the green portion of it, and then let that set in the open air and let the kernels dry out, and then you'll flake it off and you'll put it in an envelope and save it for next year's planting.
Right.
Now, some of this heirloom corn, M.I. Gardner has all the seeds at 99 cents, okay? You don't have to worry about there. That's why we recommend going there. Some of these other heirloom seed companies, what you buy at M.I. Gardner for 99 cents, they're charging $5, $6, $7 for the same amount of seeds from some of these other corporations. But anyway, well, that's another story for another day. Let's talk about the ones that are really hard to save, and we would recommend going to migardner.com and buying these seeds fresh. And I talked to Luke, the owner, yesterday, and he said that the store should be restocked. They've cleaned out the store this year because by law they have to get rid of all the old seeds. The store will be stocked by November 1st for 450 varieties of new heirloom organic flower, vegetables, and herb seeds. And real quickly, if you're looking for a gift from a gardener, don't buy him another shovel. Because go to the store, 99 cents a pack, buy them a bunch of seeds. They will be much more appreciative of that than the 14th shovel in the 16th year of Christmas. Okay, just buy them seeds.
Or like a trowel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, great. I got another one of these. Wonderful. Just buy them some seeds. Here are some seeds that are very difficult to save, and there's some reasons why. Cucumbers. Cucumbers, if you let the cucumber go to a full mature state, it's going to turn yellow and the seeds are going to be usable for the next year. The problem you have with that is if you're growing a variety of different cucumbers like we are, we're growing 10 different varieties, the problem is they will cross very easily, and you're going to get a morph variety. So it's just better just to go to MI Gardener and buy.
Start fresh.
Start fresh.
Yeah, so definitely. And then other ones include onions and leeks because those are biannual.
They'll take if you let your onions and leeks stay in the ground this year, if they're not stressed, they're going to go to dormancy, regrow next year, and then put that flower seed on. So it's easier just to save, just to buy the seeds. Carrots are the same way. Anything in the brassica family, kale, broccoli, cauliflower, kohlrabi, Brussels sprouts, very difficult to save because those are biannuals, and just easier to buy the seeds.
Strawberries, it's not about saving the seeds necessarily, but it's about
the germination of it. Yeah. Just buy the starts, or what they call bare roots, or you can actually get what is called harvest the daughter plants off the parent plant. We've done that, works very well.
And then potatoes, you would just want to start that from a seed potato,
because if you have diseases in your soil and you carry those over there's ways to save them, and if you carry those potatoes over to the next year, you can reintroduce those problems into your garden. Beets are biannual. Swiss chard is a biannual. So you have to wait 2 years in order to save those seeds if the plants are not extremely stressed this first year. So hopefully that has helped you. We encourage you to try those easy saving seeds. With the tomatoes, if you go to the farmer's market, you can buy an heirloom variety tomato that you think is real pretty, and you want to grow it next year. Ask for the variety, and then you can save the seeds from that. Perfectly fine. Just don't do that from the grocery store in the generic tomato variety at the grocery store. That's not good because you don't know anything about it. You talk to the farmer at the farmer's market, and they will tell you pretty much everything you need to know. If you're in the Milwaukee or surrounding areas, just tune your radio to 860 AM or FM 106.5. You can also find links on our Facebook pages, The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener and Home Canning. Our website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, click on the radio tab at the top of the page, then click on the Listen Live button, and you'll have immediately access to our live program. Mobile devices work very well also. Go to your app store and download for free the TuneIn app or the Simple Radio app. Then search WNOV 860, save it to your favorites, and you can have access to our radio show live wherever you're at in the world. Our radio program will also have podcast replay under the radio tab several days following the live broadcast. You can find all of these links in the show notes below. Our show airs 9 to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time every Saturday, March through the end of October. And we want to thank our sponsors because without them, this would not be anywhere possible. You can find all of their links under the radio tab on our website at thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.